So we got Sunday morning action, views, dues, and a whole lot of games to pick and choose. Y'all know what this is, man. Views and dues here. Views from the 22, live on the scene. Germ So True, Mo Schefter, Vic Jr., M Drop the J, fadeaways. Perfect. Y'all know what this is, man. Scene representing as we always do on the early Sunday morning tip. Make sure y'all got y'all coffee. Make sure y'all bring y'all questions. Make sure, most importantly, y'all bring the jokes. Y'all bring the drama, because that's what we doing today. Fellas, how we doing? Vic, what's going on, bro? What's going? What's the word? My thunder bird.
Not much, man. Just ready for another week of football. It's been a fun season. Um, a lot of new faces, a lot of new teams, like the Panthers, Carolina Panthers. Shout out to those guys. An impressive young football team we've been talking about. Mo's been talking about for a while already, for a couple of years. They just drafting very well, and now you got Sam Darnold, who we kind of, we have our questions about, but so far he's balling out there. But yeah, shout out to these young teams,
y'all,
man.
not we. We don't speak French.
First
you,
of all,
y'all.
First of all, we'll see. He still got time. But nah, man, shout out to MJ with that shirt, impact the game, because that's what a lot of these kids are doing nowadays. And I mean, we know Coach Jenkins over there is impacting whatever he does with the basketball, stuff out there in Indiana. So I love that shirt, man.
Um, I'm gonna go to MJ last because we're gonna impact the game right after MJ speaks.
Okay.
Because that's the type of bag we in today.
Okay.
Most of Sunday. Mo, we see you with the jersey. We see you
Yeah,
with the
man.
jersey like you surf. So,
Yeah, man. The last time I wore this jersey, Logan Ryan was taking a pick six back to the house. That's the last time I wore this jersey. But it's only right I wear this jersey tonight. It's homecoming weekend. We got the GOAT going back to New England, probably the biggest homecoming game in sports. I don't think that's an understatement. When you look at the overall totality of his career, the longevity, the success. I mean, I know a lot of people have been mentioning the LeBron thing. LeBron didn't quite have the impact, and it wasn't quite there as long in Cleveland, at least. I'm not even talking about just the impact of the game, which we're going to talk about the impact of the game, and we're just going to leave it right there. We got a lot to talk about, so we're going to use the transition now. Go ahead,
MJ, my guy.
Yes, sir. So
What's
if
the word?
content is king, y'all looking at royalty, man, make sure that y'all pull up to the scene. Also, this is brought to you by Monkey Knife Fights. If you have not set yourself up to be able to get this bag, what are you waiting for? It's great information being given on this show. You can even use our promo code, the scene, to be able to match you $100 for everything that we telling you. It's October now. We got more than enough data and information to be able to make the best possible decision on your football team. Now it's time to cook. So I'm going to go ahead and pass that to the best in the business, and I'm just going to learn from them.
Hey, man, look, man. All first verse, because we've been to kill it. All first verse. All first verse. So at the end of the day, we got a crazy schedule. Every game this week has some type of kick to it, has a little bit of extra something to it, a little sauce to it. You know what I'm saying? So we got a lot of stuff. But let's talk about this impact the game. And we're going to start up the street, around the corner, down the street, in the sister city of where I'm from, Cleveland. And we're going to start with the Bengals. At the end of the day, this is the most impactful situation I have seen from a receiver standpoint going to a team. Jamar Chase has come into this organization as a rookie. He has revitalized their passing game. He's given Joe somebody he's confident in, and he has completely turned this offense into almost, I say, a juggernaut. They're running the ball better than they did last year. They are pretty much figuring out what players on the offensive line and where everybody is supposed to be away from being where they need to be. Defensively, they are very, very intriguing with a lot of the players that they have. The linebackers that they took last year in the draft, Logan Wilson and Akeem Davis-Gaither, they are now a part of this linebacking core, and that is flying around making plays to go along with one of the best young safety tandems in the NFL with Von Bell and my guy Jesse Bates III from Wake Forest. And they come back in with guys from other teams that we did not see get a lot of run in other places. So at the end of the day, fellas, we're going to talk about it. Me and Vic scouted Jamar Chase. I stood on the table 3 years ago and I said, Odell Landry is what we call Jamar Chase because he is the combination of the two best products that came out of LSU of Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. Those two guys, he has Jarvis's route running and savviness with Odell Beckham's explosiveness. And when you put those things together with the ability to catch the football, which is the most important part of being a receiver, you're bound to get great things. So we studied. I said he was better than Justin. People said, no, it's no way he's better than Justin. Well, here we are. Vic, what are the things that you are seeing from this kid that are really, really, really important for this organization, especially at the least important position in all of the sport?
I mean, first and foremost, man, I gotta shout out to Beef Germ, because so far they've been doing their part. You know, there's obviously some improvement that needs to be done there, but that second round pick so far, Jackson Carman, out of Syracuse, Clemson, with Trevor Lawrence and those guys. I mean, we had our questions about this kid, but so far, I mean, he's protecting well. They're moving the ball in the running game. They're averaging about 4.4 yards a carry with Joe Mixon. So, of course, you know, that's leaving some things open up for Joe Burrow. And, I mean, you know, Jamar Chase, man, that route running that we saw at LSU, all of a sudden, I don't know what he did, flip the switch from preseason, or maybe he was just hiding something. But right now he's impacting the game. I mean, because some of that out route that he did, you know, this week, you know, on Thursday was pretty impressive. It looked like a veteran type of move. I mean, we talk about a kid that just turned 21, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, the future is bright for this football team, man. And, you know, we talked about, again, the beef is so important when, you know, you have to decide between protecting your quarterback. But like we said, this is a kid that, again, he can run routes, he can catch the football. But most importantly, he's downfield blocking with the running back. You know, if the running back is getting a gain, or if a receiver, you know, like he was downfield when Tyler Boyd, you know, Tyler Boyd is going to impact the game, you know, in the slot, short routes, and then yards after the catch. You got Jamar Chase running down the field with him. And I mean, those little small details, we talk about the details that impact the football game. That's what Jamar Chase does. And I'm excited for the Bengals, man. I've been looking forward to this team since they drafted Joe Burrow last year. So, you know, shout out to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Chef, have you got a chance to catch you some Bengals stuff? And what do you
think? Absolutely, man. Listen, I think just to focus on Chase for a second. Okay, the only it's because corners are stay chasing him. Okay, that's how he got that last name. They legally had to change his last name at some point in life.
Okay,
I got a couple of them. You know, it's listen. We're in a good frequency today, MJ. We're on a good frequency today. Where was I? Oh, the way for a rookie, not even for a rookie, for such a young player, the patience, the precision when it comes to running these routes, the like a lot of times you see young guys just want to, and I'm sure MJ can talk about this with his young players on basketball. They want to rush through the process. They want to rush through the fundamentals. They don't want to do the boring stuff. They don't see how necessary it is to do the little things. All they want to do is explode off the line and cut hard and make the impressive catches. It starts with the feet. It starts with understanding leverage, and it starts with communication with your quarterback. And it's amazing to see how these guys, these two young players, have such an incredible connection with each other on the next level already. It's only been but a couple weeks, and they're already on this level that shows, hey, man, these guys are going to be a problem every week, no matter the defense, no matter the matchup, because I've heard strong takes from Germ on a lot of players, Not many came with quite as strong as Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
And it's for a reason. And he's showing you quickly that reason. Again, the explosiveness is nasty. The ability to make great catches is nasty. The ability to get unbelievable separation from professional athletes is incredible. But it starts with his attention to detail. It starts with his patience, his particularness. Everything is detailed. Everything is with a purpose. And if you notice, these are a lot of the same things that we said about a young AB, about a young Le'Veon Bell, about a young DeAndre Hopkins, about a lot of these guys who eventually transformed into just legendary baller status. And Jamar's on his way, and that cat Joe Burrow, man, that's no offense to Joe Montana. That's our generation's Joe Cool right there. That dude is impressive. And then you got a young defense who has a great impact on the game. The Bengals looking good.
Listen, I've been talking about the Ravens and the Steelers for a while. Y'all been loving the Steelers for a while. I've been kind of seeing some regression in the Steelers, and it'd be great to see them or the Ravens at the bottom while the Bengals are maybe second or third in that division.
Yeah.
Well, we'll transition to that in 1 second as we get to Mr. Impact the Game himself.
Yeah.
Me and MJ had a very, very good 2-hour conversation about fantasy football and different things like that. And I said, Jamar Chase is a guy that he's going to fall because people don't know. People are going to look at the preseason. They're going to jump out and say, oh, he can't catch in preseason. I said, you're talking about a guy who hasn't played football in over 16 months. He'll be fine starting week 1. And week 1, he came out and he dominated.
Yep.
When we talked about this, we talked about a lot of things, just in particular about are the things that we look for when we're drafting for fantasy, but most important, the things we look for in fantasy football in general. We can give away a secret here today. When we're looking at wide receivers, MJ, fantasy football status, and for guys in that situation, what do we look for? And we can just give them one trait. We ain't got to give them a bunch today. The rest of y'all can't see it all for free. Y'all got
No. I'll give them the most important one because they still not going to be able to do anything with it. I can give you the game, but you got to know what to do with it. The most important one is, do we get the ball? What you got to understand is this is the best, highest level of football that you're going to ever play in the world. If you're here, you're good. Now it's just about opportunity. So are you going to get the ball? So when I looked at Jamar Chase and I noticed that when they drafted him the way they drafted him, the first thing that I thought of was the 98 Minnesota Vikings. I'm like, oh, they just picked up Randy Moss. Because you already had your other 2 wide receivers that were potent. Now you get this guy that just makes you explosive. Even though T. Higgins is injured, it's like you add T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd and Jamar Chase, in addition to the fact that you have an incredible runner in Joe Mixon. It's like, what are you going to guard? So when they did that, I already knew, they're trying to put Joe Mixon at an elite level by giving him all the weapons he needs early. And, as you guys were speaking on Jamar Chase, it just allowed me to think of a thought. And here is my philosophy. It's always been my philosophy when it comes to sports and training and all of this. When you're playing the game of skill, less is always more. It's important that people understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's going to be just about athleticism, or if you lack the skill, you have to make up for it with work ethic. But when you have the skill, you don't have to do much because your technique is doing the work for you.
Mm.
If my shoulders is where they're supposed to be, if my stop and my plant is selling everything, I don't have to go full speed now. Even if I run a 4.4, I can go 4.7, and it's still going to look like the same thing because the technique is what's creating the separation, not the athleticism.
Right.
This is the reason why a guy like Jerry Rice, who ran a 4.7, we ain't gonna talk about the stickum, but he was able to, get the separation that he got against a guy like Deion Sanders, who ran a 4.2, because it was all skill and technique.
Right.
And until we start really investing into that element, we're going to keep missing the most finest nuances of the game. Because y'all stay seeing guys getting picked because they run a 4-3, a 4-2, a 4-4, and they can't get open. Why? They lack the skill. So you pick the guy that has the best of both worlds, it's only going to lead to greatness. So
Absolutely.
I'm going to be really intrigued to see in this Cincinnati team. And as far as defense goes, and I'm going to pass this to Jerm after this portion. Welcome, Jerry. Salute to you. But from a defensive standpoint, there are three things that you have to focus on defense playing in this NFL. You need discipline. We don't need these penalties. We don't need none of that. You need sure tackling. And you need speed in every place.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three things you need to play defense in this NFL. Because guys are going to move the ball, guys are going to get yards, but those three things is going to determine whether they get 3 or 7 or whether you can turn the ball over time. And that's how you play defense. Cincinnati has things now, so they're going to be a scary team.
Yeah, just real quick point, Jerm, about what MJ just said. You hear it from, I've heard Randy Moss talk about this. I've heard Richard Sherman talk about this. I've heard Darrelle Revis talk about this. I've heard Jamal Adams talk about this. And of course, I have heard Deion Primetime Sanders talk about this. When it comes to receivers, there are multiple things corners look for as far as where they run their routes. And like MJ said, sometimes it's just with the body language. How far is their shoulder leaning? How back is their shoulder leaning? Where is their head looking? All those kind of things as we take a look at Jerry in Jerry World.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So with that being said,
look at that,
great,
yo. My God.
Great points and everything like that. As you guys see, I'm doing camera work too. I'm putting in triple duty today. It is what it is, but anything for the views because we pay our dues.
And look at that stadium, bro.
Views from the 22. And now we got Jerry providing us with another all 22. And at the end of the listen, it's levels. Y'all got to understand. It's one of these situations, man. We're gonna get to this game, of course. That field looks incredible. Like it looks incredible. This is prime time here to be able to even see this right now.
And
so you guys are getting that.
That's probably some of the best seats you could get right there. Like halfway through the field, halfway in the stadium right there. That's some good seats right there, Jerry.
Jerry, did you give up a kidney to get that seat?
I think he's muted right now.
I think he's muted because they got all this. Cause NFL stadiums are loud, man.
Yes,
even during the pregame.
Sorry, guys, I got it muted.
There he
right
is.
now. It's loud in here, and people aren't even showing up yet. We still got an hour till kickoff. We've had them out here warming up. We got Randy Gregory. He's going to be playing today. He was doubtful all week, but he's going to suit up. And we've seen Dak and CD and out here, Amari out here running routes, throwing passes. Right now, you got the kickers from Carolina out here knowing them. But it's been going good, and we're ready for a good game today.
Jerry, what are your observations during warm-ups?
My observations is these dudes like to play.
Yeah.
They were out here. They were playing volleyball with the football earlier.
Yeah. Hey man, listen. If you do go catch an NFL game, do not show up at kickoff. Okay, do not show up 15 minutes late. Yeah. You got to show up a solid 2.5 to 3 hours early because it goes by quick. There's a lot to look at. There's a lot to see. I mean, the one thing that stands out in warm-ups is these guys are going hard, man. Like if I was to warm up the way these guys warm up, I wouldn't work out. That's it. I warm up and go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
Jerry, going hard, man.
Hey, Jerry. Shout out to you for getting there early, man. I know we talked all week. You and your wife are out there. I don't know if you want to show you guys on camera so the people could see. But what are you looking for? You got the Panthers number 1 defense. Hey, this is bowling. You got the Panthers number 1 defense out there, bro. What do you talked about it all week? What are you expecting out of the Cowboys?
And Cowboys are honestly catching a break with CMC injured, JC Horn out right now. They traded for I think CJ Henderson. Man, I don't know how he's going to be working out for Carolina. He might fit the scheme a little bit better than he did over there in Jacksonville, but I don't know, man. We're pretty excited, dude. We caught these tickets last second break, somebody sold them cheap as can be, and we're actually right below Jerry Jones' suite, so it's pretty cool.
Okay. That's
I'll
what's
try to
up.
catch that old man on video later.
Very nice, very nice. Hey, if you see Jerry, let him hop in. We got a couple things to discuss with him.
Oh,
Y'all are hilarious.
with that being said,
Hey,
real
man.
quick, as we wrap up this part of it to get to our pick'em segment and everything else like that, we got an AFC North that everybody has pretty much sustained a loss at least. Everybody is really, really close. We haven't even gotten to division games yet. We have an AFC. We also have the AFC West, where we have a bunch of things going on that we never really expected. We have the NFC West, where we knew this division was going to be what it is today. We just got to call it what it is at this stage, and we're gonna go after this, and we're gonna talk about this. So with that being said, fellas, what team in the AFC West are you the most impressed by? I'm gonna start with you, MJ.
That's easy, Arizona. And
AFC, bro.
AFC West.
Yes, that's Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, and Chargers.
You know something? I didn't expect this from the Broncos. I didn't. I gotta give credit where credit's due with Teddy Bridgewater. He has been doing a hell of a job of managing the game, being able to get the ball to receivers. Even when Judy went down, it was a next man up type situation in which he found another weapon. His name escapes me right now, but he found another weapon receiver that everybody's talking about him like he could be the next two. So it's like the league is so deep right now, Pause. It's just so much talent to where you got to be able to just show up every rip. And what Denver has done is they have just locked in on the details and the fundamentals. You could tell they're maxed out with what they are playing and how they are playing. But if you're not as talented as other teams, that's what I expect from you. So they deserve everything and then some as far as their credit goes. You know, yes, I know Oakland is 3-0 as well, but we kind of, from last year, you saw the weapons. You saw that they could get off to a fast start because they had a really solid season last year. Denver, we had no expectations for. We had no idea this was even an option. And yeah, they schedule wasn't that strong, but just how they're winning. It's like, wow, maybe, just maybe, we need to be looking at this team a little bit deeper.
No, I agree with you, MJ. I think Denver is definitely the team to keep an eye on here in the AFC West. Obviously, Bradley Chubb being injured is a blow, but you certainly wish for his speedy recovery. But I think the defense has been great. But Teddy Bridgewater is definitely the story in Denver, and the untold story in Denver is Vic Fangio. Vic has been a very underrated coach. There was a meme floating around that Matt Nagy won Coach of the Year, and it should have been Vic Fangio. I can't remember what the meme said, but that's the moral of the story, is that it really should have been Vic Fangio. And I think you see here he is in Denver. A lot of people wanted him out. A lot of people wanted him to be replaced. And sometimes it's just not that easy, especially when you got a guy like Vic Fangio who just listen to players talk about Vic Fangio. Listen to Bears, listen to the Broncos, just listen to Von Miller and Khalil Mack. Listen to two of the greatest of our generation at what they do. Talk about Vic Fangio and the type of coach he is. And it's really all you need to know. And it's not a surprise that his team plays so well for him, but it is a surprise that they're playing this well collectively, and maybe they have something that's sustainable. Now they got a big test today.
Yeah.
But regardless, and I think KG, I'm not checking the comments yet. I hope KG is in there. I got Keelan Granberry. I think he'll be the first to tell you this is the best football we've seen from Denver in about 4 to 5 years, bar none.
And we're going to go from one Vic to our Vic. So my question is, Vic, have you got a chance to look and see what you like so far about this team?
Yeah, I mean, like MJ was talking about. I don't know if you were referring to Tim Patrick.
Yes,
Was the other receiver. Yeah, they got Mo mentioned, they got Bradley Chubb out. They got Jerry Jeudy, that's also out. But Tim Patrick has stepped up. Noah Fant has stepped up. Cortland Sutton is also coming back from injury last season, doing his thing. But like we talked about before, man, Teddy Bridgewater is just distributing that football to all types of weapons that he has there. Some kids that are up and coming. That's a possible good 3 receiver set that they have there with Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy, and Cortland Sutton, to go with Noah Fant at tight end. So, there's a lot of youth in the NFL, especially at the receiver position. We know it's a situation now where the NFL is a lot more strict with the way the DBs touch the receivers. But there's some talent coming out at this position. And Denver definitely got 3 with a quarterback, that, again, doesn't lose you a game. Doesn't win you a game, but he ain't going to lose you a game with any turnovers and stuff like that. Their running game is also taking a step forward with Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. Shout out to Melvin Gordon, somebody that, whether you liked him or not, he's had a decent career. So, that is a good looking football team. Shout out to the Raiders, man, that division as well. They beat some tough teams though, Mo. They beat some tough teams here, with the Ravens, beating the Ravens and the Steelers, and then going to overtime with the Dolphins. That's a strong 3-0. That's a strong 3-0. But we'll see.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
That's a strong 3-0, dog.
Come on, Vic.
This is football. Hey, your record says what you are, dog. That's what Bill.
Not in September. Not in September.
Okay. All right. As we transition, yes, I'm intervening. As we transition to the next stage of this, Teddy Bridgewater, he does exactly what my guy's shirt over there says. He impacts the game by not impacting the game in a negative light. Yeah, so what do I talk about? Teddy Bridgewater, he is there. He is the bridge above water to make sure that you're able to get to whatever other guy you have to get to. But on top of that, he's not going to win you any games, and he's not going to lose you any games. That's the best part about this. He takes the game manager part of his job serious. And that's the most important part for him. You got a good defense, a young defense that flies around and makes a lot of plays. You let them do their job. You do your job. You got a bunch of playmakers, get the ball in their hands, let them make the plays. You do all of those things, and look where you are. Tree and O. That's all it is. So at the end of the day, the only people getting 30s out here are the people who are playing in all 3 phases. That's offense, defense, special teams. That means your offense is running the ball and you're able to pass the ball enough, but also that means your defense can stop the run and they can also make it interesting when people try to pass. And special teams, no turnovers and forced turnovers. It's really that simple. And that's what Denver does. So, and Denver is probably the deepest team we have in the NFL outside of the Chargers, ironically in the same division, in the secondary. They have a bunch of players that they unveil with those budding superstars and Jeffrey Simmons and Derwin James. And we got these do-it-all safeties to go along with all of these young, youthful, very, very talented corners. And this is what you get. And this is where we are. And ironically, they both play in a division with the Chiefs. We'll talk about the Chiefs a little later. With that being said, it's time. Y'all know what time it is. It's time to pick them.
Let's get it.
At the end of the day, there's only 1 or 2 things that really matter this week. And the 2 things that matter this week, the word for this week is consistency. Why? It's week 4. We want to find consistency in everything that we're doing as we move past the first quarter of the season. So now, with that being said, consistency is the word of the day. The most consistent team today in all 3 phases will win every game today. So with that being our rubric for today, let's take it from the top, fellas. We shall start at the top. We got the Titans to the Jets. Mr. Schefter, do your work.
Yeah, I mean, real simple for this one, Jeremy. We're not going to take up too much time because we got a lot to talk about, and we're already on the less than 50-minute mark. So Tennessee at the Jets, 44.5 is the over-under. The Titans are favored by a touchdown without the extra point. A.J. Brown, Bud Dupree, and Quintorius Julio Jones are out for the Titans in this one. Simply put, it really doesn't matter. The New York Jets could put 12 men in the box against Derrick Henry, and they're going to still find a way to lose this game. Give me the Titans. Make sure you take the under. Stay away from the spread if I were you. But you know what? It's the Jets. So if you're gonna bet on this game because you want to make a little safe bet, go ahead, man. Take Tennessee, take the under, and you're gonna win this game. Give me Tennessee 22-0.
Give me Tennessee as well. I don't have really much to say.
The only question that I have, and as much as I'm a lab guy, film over feelings, all of that, there are certain instances in which you see a certain situation in which it's like, this is a good opportunity for this person to, kind of throw it back in their face. Corey Davis has that opportunity. So I'm wondering, I think there's rules, but from a fantasy standpoint, I'm wondering, will he have a repeat performance in week 1? And will he have it in week 4 right now? I'm wondering. I don't know.
I hear you.
And it sucks because it's between him and Myles Gaskins for me. I don't know which one to start. Because both of them, for the most part, for my flex, has been very inconsistent and very subpar. So,
hey, if those are your flex options, work on your curls, brother.
Hey, I got plenty more.
Oh, okay.
It's from emotional.
I got you. Like,
it's a gut feeling, like, because
understood.
Gonna give me like 2 more good performances. I just don't want to miss out on the second. That's the only thing. For real.
I hear you.
I'm gonna take the Titans too in this game, but so far their defense has been underwhelming again for a team with some talent on that defense. But I expect the Jets to get 3 touchdowns today. I think that Zach Wilson and Corey Davis will connect for at least one of those touchdowns. So I will take the Titans winning this game, but the Jets will score this week.
All right. Next game.
Good.
We have
high hopes.
High hopes.
Oh God, this game. Go ahead, Jeremy.
All right, Lions versus the Bears.
At
the end of the day, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is the how about no of the week.
Yes.
And why is it the how about no of the week?
I like that one.
At the end of the day, we got Jared Goff and we got Justin Fields. So these 2 J's can't make it right. I need Justin Fields to be a lot more. We got jokes and more jokes. That's what we got. J&J, jokes and more jokes. But the reason why this is jokes and more jokes is because the joke is on the Lions because they only play one half of football every week. Then the other joke is on the Bears because they think that this rookie quarterback right now is in a good spot to be starting in a situation where they haven't given him the offensive line. And obviously the only thing he has to throw to is Allen Robinson, and everybody else is pretty much a complimentary piece to that. But the biggest joke of them all is that nobody has batted an eye at the fact that Matt Nagy needs to Joker. But at the end of the day, nobody has batted an eye at the fact that Matt Nagy needs to be relieved from all his duties as a coach and as a coordinator. It is time for us to have that conversation objectively. Mr. Schefter, please do your work.
Hey, man, over-under on this game is 41.5. The Bears are 3-point favorites. As far as Matt Nagy is concerned, he's got to go, okay? It's just I don't think there's any other way about it. Who are you going to replace him with? Damn it, find somebody. Who's it? Ryan Pace is still there. He's got to go to the Bears. There is a lot missing for the Chicago Bears, and it is not going to be solved with one piece, one player, 1 week. As far as I'm concerned, as far as the quarterback controversy, there is no controversy, Chief. Justin Fields, Jerm, we understand he's got to get better in processing coverage and understanding the finer nuances of professional football. But at the end of the day, I still believe this is a cat that you just got to throw on water and let him figure out how to swim. Last week, he had 1 yard passing. You can't bench that man now. You bench that man now, you might as well give him his pink slip. But after 1 yard passing, no. Throw that man in there. He can only get better from there, you would hope. And at the end of the day, they're playing the Detroit Lions, okay? And the Detroit Lions looking like some like young Simbas right now. Not the King Simba, young Simba. That's what they looking like. I mean, the Lions is just, I don't think they know how to win football games, and I don't think they're gonna figure it out. Dan Campbell, I like Dan Campbell. I'm rooting for Dan Campbell, but I'm rooting for him. It's like the little Giants rooting for Dan Campbell. You know what I'm saying? Like, they really got no chance any week because there's just a lot missing. They went to Jared and they got cubic zirconium. They didn't get the Goff that knows how to go off. All they got is a guy who is limited between the hashes, a statue, and look like he got molasses on his feet. Give me the Bears to win this game 8-6. That's my score.
I'll follow that because that's going to be a tough one. Hey, I'm just going to say it like this, man. If you think that the Fields don't have more than they can bear, then you're lying. With that being said, go ahead and give me the Bears for no reason other than the Lions are the Lions.
See, the only Lions that I like are the ones on Empire. And that's pretty much just to be honest. And the only Bears that I like are in the Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe. So with that being said, we're just going to make this real simple. If we're going to impact the game this week, that is football, we need to let our impact players do their work. So the impact players this week are the defenders on the Bears. Let the defenders on the Bears do their work. At the end of the day, that's what you get. So this is not Yogi Bear's defense. There will be no picnic baskets. There will be no boo-boos unless there are boo-boos for the other team. And we talking about because they ain't singing, they bringing drama. Roquan Smith
don't finish that.
Is a superstar at linebacker. Oh yeah. See, yeah. Woo-hoo.
I picked up on that, Jerry. Don't finish that. Don't say that next line.
Hey, me and Vic scouted Roquan, and I think me and Vic will both agree. There was Devin White and there is Roquan Smith as the best linebackers that we probably ever scouted. Roquan Smith is one of the best young linebackers in football today, and he will be a top 3 linebacker in this league, only behind the Cyborg in Tampa and potentially Micah Parsons, who I think is right there on par with those two guys. Give me Chicago. Defense matters. All knees matter. And Chicago got the better knees this week.
What you got, Vic?
Hey, that's a great matchup right there. The German I'm looking for is Roquan Smith versus DeAndre Swift. We got some speed. We got some agility from both sides there. So I'm going to take the Lions in this game. I think all three of y'all took the Bears. I'm taking the Lions. I'm gonna try to get a lead here on our predictions.
Okay.
See if I could get, catch up a little bit. I just think that the Lions have been little by little kind of picking teams apart with the short passing game, with the way they're mixing DeAndre Swift, and also Jamal Williams has been a good addition to that football team. That offensive line looks impressive when it comes to moving guys forward, creating some space for those running backs to move. So I'm taking the Lions in this game. I think that with the way that Bears offense looks right now, I think the Lions could get 3 points on them. So I'm gonna get a little prediction. I'll go 19-16 on this one.
Okay.
Some field goals in this game.
So our next game that we go through this week, we got the Colts going with the Dolphins. And that's just what it is. So at the end of the day, this is one of the games I circle. And I circled 9 of them. So let's have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
Colts are in a spot right now that they can still make some moves because Tennessee is who we thought they'd be. Steady, but they still have their questions. The Colts, they don't have the only Caucasian guy named Quentin in the world, probably. He will not be available for the next 4 weeks to impact the game where they need it. Where do they need it? In the running game. Yep. The running game is the Colts staple for them to be able to do things against a Dolphins team that is still trying to find their identity. And that's what the big key here. Say what you want to say about the Tua Tagovailoa situation. The problem with it is he doesn't impact the game the way they need him to impact the game. Meaning we need more Teddy Bridgewater than we need you being a superstar hotshot quarterback right now, because we have all of the components for us to make this interesting every Sunday because of our head coach and because of the talent we have on this football team. Mr. Schefter, do your work.
Hey man, over under on this game is 42. The Dolphins are 2.5-point favorites. The Colts are missing a lot of key guys on especially on offense this week on that offensive line. They might be missing about 3 of their 5 offensive line starters, including Quentin Nelson, and that is going to snap a 51-game streak for him. All that being said, Jeremy, I noticed this game is interesting. This game is low-key important when you talk about AFC playoffs and that wild card and the 17 games and the 7th seed. This game is important. Simply put, I think the Colts will win this game with their defense, particularly their pass defense, a pick six, a pressure sack, something. I just think the Colts will have a slight edge because of the turnover margin. So give me the Colts by a field goal in this game.
Vic?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with the Colts as well. The Dolphins, both with the offensive line, the quarterback play. Jacoby Brissett was somebody that I liked as a quarterback, as a serviceable, possible top 20 quarterback. But
no doubt,
he's just not finding any rhythm. There's some throws downfield that are just off. His timing looks off. They need to keep that short game going with Jalen Waddle and those guys to even have a chance, to win football games. The defense, of course, is still strong, but I think that the Colts win this game. I think it's going to be another tight game, even though with their issues and the offensive line. I think they'll be able to block enough to give Carson Wentz some time to find some weapons. But it's going to be a tight, low-scoring game as well, probably in the teens as well. But give me the Colts in that game.
Yeah, it's going to be like 19-16, 17-14, something like that. 22-21, something stupid.
Just to let y'all know, I'm taking Miami. Party in the city when the heat is on. I'm doing that thing right there. Welcome to Miami, Viva Miami, because it's getting ready to get emotional tonight, today, whatever time it is. It's a lot of things that the Colts do not do well, and the first thing they don't do well is they don't adjust during the football game, and Miami actually does. That's going to be the key today.
That's a great point. That is a great point, Jeremy.
Because that's the only thing that's stopping the Colts from being 2-1 or 3-0 right now. Adjustments.
I agree.
MJ.
Who did Brissett play for before the Dolphins?
The Colts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, give me Miami. I mean, yeah, I know he's starting off slow, but what better way to break your slump than to play against the defense you practiced with all season last year? Right. Their defense hasn't changed much. He knows who's good, who can do what, who's going to be late in certain areas. He has the familiarity. So
yeah.
With that little small edge, I'm going to give Miami for.
To your point, MJ.
It's like looking in the mirror. This is the Spider-Man meme. They got the exact same problem, with the exception of Tua getting hurt. Wentz ain't hurt, but because the offensive line hurt, you can't see the best of Wentz. So you seeing the same thing.
His 2 feet are hurt. He's playing with 2 left feet right now. But to your point, MJ, the Colts defense, if you attack them as a unit, you're going to lose. You find that 1-2 matchup that you try to exploit, that's how you beat the Colts. The Colts as a unit are very good. The Colts, if you break them down individually, now that Anthony Walker is gone, with the exception of 1 or 2 players, and that includes Darius Leonard, individually, they're not the best guys, but as a unit, they're very good.
It's just a scheme. It's just scheme at the end of the day.
Right.
You can't keep losing key cogs in the middle of your scheme, because Anthony Walker complemented what Darius Leonard does so well. Because Darius Leonard, Vic, me and you talked about this last year. His improvement as a pass rusher takes him out of coverage. So now you need a guy behind him.
Right.
And I don't know if they have that guy right now to go along with the fact. And then, bro, a shout out to DeForest Buckner.
Oh my God, bro!
What a player!
Oh my God, bro!
Look, here at Dudes and Dudes, we got to shout out people who need their just due. And Mr. Buckner is incredible. He is sensational. Every week, I want to say he's the best defensive tackle in football, because he's just consistent. He's dominant at the point of attack. And we're talking about a guy who does everything that you need on the field. And he's probably the largest man on the field. at 6'6", I believe. And we're talking about a dude who's still getting pass rush and everything. Shouts out to him. Moving on to the next game. The next game on our docket, we got the Browns going to the Vikings. At the end of the day, man, Chef, this is a quick cook for me.
Okay.
Quick cook for me is offensive line consistency. What's the word of the week? Consistency. Which offensive line does what MJ Shirt says the best? Which defensive line does what MJ Shirt says the best? Browns, you're coming off a week where Myles Garrett had 5.5 sacks. You had 9 as a team. There is no excuse why you can't dominate this team at the point of attack. 0. You have on paper the second best roster in football, not including the fact that you probably have the best if we just talk about overall talent. We're talking about this Brown roster is probably the best in football, considering all of the pieces that you have that are former number 1 picks, former first-round picks, and so much talent just in general.
I got you, John.
Mr. Chef, please do your work.
Get this one to me.
Go ahead.
I got a question for you, John.
Yes, let's do this.
Everything you said was good, but will that quick cook keep them running back?
See, the quick cook may keep them running back, but sometimes you got to chug because you get a little chub at the end of the day, or you get a little hunt to make sure you got to be, but you just got to be a little blunt when it comes down to it. Because at the end of the day, you know, we got a guy named Odell Beckham, you know what I'm saying, that likes to kick it like a little soccer player sometime when he kicking the game on the field when his feet is in the air, because he likes to get separation. And the separation that he gets to go along with it, we got a guy named Peoples who tends to be very, very good in tight spaces. So Peoples versus OJ, and then we get a little bit of this running back segment because we got to get the Heisman because we got Chubb and we got Cook.
The people versus OJ. Let's stop right there. That's it. We're gonna go.
Yes, the people versus OJ. Because
that one was the one.
This right here, I'm the juice man.
Yo.
Hey,
do
man,
your work,
listen.
Mr. Schefter.
Over under in this game is 51.5. The Browns 1-point favorite. It's a quick cook. It's a quick cook for me as well, Germ, because it's gonna matter. Is Dalvin gonna cook or is that Chubb gonna churn? To me, all I'm saying is for 60 minutes, which team is gonna do what they do best? I hate to do this. Because there's nobody that calls them the biggest tease in football more than me. I'm taking Minnesota by 2 points. Somehow, some way, this just feels like a game Cleveland is going to find a way to lose, and Minnesota is going to find a way to win. Give me the Vikings. I'm going to go 28-27, Minnesota. Yeah.
All right, Vic.
Yeah.
I mean, I was trying to come up with a little bar since everybody had a little bar here. So let's see if this comes out good real quick.
Go for it.
This game, I love this game. I'm looking forward to see if I can catch this game. I'm going to go with Kirk cooking with his little cousin Baker. Showing his little cousin Baker how to cook. Something like that. Listen, Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield, they kind of have some similar games this year. You know, guys, if you look at it, you know, Kirk is he's kind of stepped up a little bit this year so far in 3 games with that passing game. You know, so this one is tough for me because he's got the better weapons right now. You know what I'm saying? So let's see if he can show his little cousins, little Baker, how to play because they got some similar. They play similar to each other. I'm going to go with the Vikings in this game. I'm going to go with a high-scoring game as well. I think it's going to be 37-34 type of game against the Browns because this is one of those games where, you know, which of these quarterbacks is going to make the big play because their running games are very dominant right now. So I'm going to give it a little Cousins over there.
So here's the thing. Last thing I'm going to say, because I do think this game is going to be high scoring as well, Vic. I think both of these quarterbacks are going to make plays. To me, the biggest, what it's going to ultimately come down to when we look at the stat sheet in the film is going to be the turnover differential. Which quarterback is going to prevent the other defense from making the big play? And I think Baker's going to bake up some turnovers today. So give me. That's why I'm taking the Vikings.
I will say this. I'm going to say this. The matchup key for me is linebackers versus backs. That's going to be the matchup for me.
Big one. Big one.
I trust Cleveland's linebackers more than I trust Minnesota's linebackers right now. I think they're going to make a nice push, and I think that defense is way better than what they have shown. But I think they just need probably about a couple more weeks of gelling before we can really see that.
Real quick, Jeremy, before you jump in. I mean, like these offenses these teams on both sides look so similar. Like if Jarvis Landry was playing, and I'm not trying to compare Thielen and Jefferson right now to Odell and Landry, but they kind of have similarities on what they do. You know, right now you can say Thielen and Jefferson are probably the better combination right now. But I mean, these defenses look very, very similar on paper. And then this is a very interesting game, very, very fun game.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, are you a cooker or are you a baker? At the end of the day, when I go over to my cousin's house, it's always, do I want to go over to cousin's house that cooks, or do I want to go over to cousin's house that bakes? And at the end of the day, I always choose the baker because I'm normally the chef in my kitchen. And here in Cleveland, we like to have the baking are done ourselves, and we like to go elsewhere for the cooks. So with that being said, I'm going to roll with Baker over Cousins because I would prefer that my cousins were better bakers. And that's what we're going to call it for the day. Because I need today for Baker to show that he's the better version of Mr. Cousins. Otherwise, if he shows that he's the little bro, then I don't need to see him no more. And that's just how it goes. So give me Cleveland today. I need statements. Because they got a guy named J.O.K. that plays linebacker today. And with that guy, he's no joke. So it is what it is.
I see what you did.
Give me Cleveland. Hey, see, listen, man, this
they're calling him the joke. For those who don't know, they're calling him the Joker right now.
Hey, no. When I threw the lobby, you said the people versus OJ. I was done after that. Yeah. You won for the day. People versus OJ won for the day.
Yeah.
MJ, did you pick who you picking? Cleveland or are you picking Minnesota?
I picked Cleveland.
Okay. All right, next game on the docket. I know you picked Minnesota, Vic.
All right.
This is gonna be fun. Yeah. Washington versus Atlanta. Now, Mo, I know you're excited for this game.
I am.
Because this is a game that low-key should be very, very good on a lot of different levels. I'm talking beef. We should see great trench matches today. Matt Ryan may pass for 500 yards, but have 3 interceptions in the same game. We're talking about a lot of pressure that is going to be on Matt Ryan today to see if they can bounce back from that win they had last week. Impact the game. Starts in the trenches. Chef, let's do this work.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, I don't want to spend same thing. This game is very, very intriguing. You got over-under is 47.5, and obviously Vegas agrees that it's going to be interesting because they got Washington as 1.5-point favorites. Now, why? I'm not really too sure because I believe the game is in Atlanta. So the fact that Atlanta is home underdogs is a little surprising to me because both of these teams are 1-2. And I know no disrespect to Taylor Heineke, but it's not exactly like he's playing consistent good football. He's a baller. He's going to go out there and give you everything that he's got. But what more is he really going to give you? Now, the good thing for the Washington in this game is Antonio Gibson is ready to roll. And I think Antonio Gibson is going to make some big plays, and this offense overall is capable of having explosive plays. As much as we are sick of Matt Ryan, there is something low-key good brewing in Atlanta with Arthur Smith in this offense. I'm not saying Arthur Smith is a good coach. I'm not saying he's going to lead them to the playoffs. I'm not saying he's a guy that's going to help this Falcons team rebuild with a younger quarterback. What I am saying is there seems to be organization and structure to this offense where we haven't seen that since Kyle Shanahan went over to San Francisco. No Julio Jones means that there's no real target or threat for the opposing defenses to just key in on. Instead, now you got a nice combination of depth that's top heavy, not top heavy, but at the top, you got Calvin Ridley and the rookie Kyle Pitts, which as much as I didn't really like the Kyle Pitts pick, It wasn't about the Pitts pick. It was more about the situation that he's going to. But it was definitely going to improve this offense, and it has. So I think there's going to be points in this game. But ultimately, I think Atlanta has just a little bit more than the Washington football team. So give me Atlanta 31-28.
So,
Vic? Go ahead, MJ.
I was just going to say you made such a great case that I literally just took Myles Gaskin and put him on my bench for Cordero Patterson. So thank you, man.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Thank you. You won.
Hey,
everybody winning today. Like, it's all winning.
So you rolling with Atlanta, MJ?
No, I'm gonna let Vic pick. I don't even know who I'm picking yet. Vic, go ahead.
Listen, I mean, I don't know. This is a messy game. This is probably, two teams that have had one of the worst starts, in this, in this season, this early young season. I mean, the Redskins the Washington football team have been kind of disappointing. Even the defense is not exactly what we expected or playing up to their potential. This is a tough game for me to choose because again, Atlanta has also been a team, so far that has not thrown the ball deep. I think they have the lowest attempts over 20 yards so far this season. Is that a Julio Jones effect? Maybe. Calvin Ridley, it's supposed to be somebody that I expected to take a step forward this year as well. And so far it's been inconsistent. I guess I'll pick. I'll take Washington just for the fact that they have a better, more talented defensive roster. Their offense basically can go toe to toe with this offense the way it's with the Atlanta offense, the way it's structured right now. So I'm taking the football team, and it's going to be another low scoring game. I think in the early 20s, 22-20 type of 21 type of game as well. But I'll take Washington.
In football, we have a situation, right, where we have a lot of sweat equity and things like that we like to put into the game. A lot of these teams need to put sweat equity, Montez Sweat. So with that being said, we also have the fact that we have a very young defense, Chase Young. So this young defense does a lot of good things on film. They put in a lot of sweat equity, and they are very, very elite at getting after quarterbacks. So Matt, unfortunately, that's probably where he'll be at majority of the game because there's only so many places he's going to be able to go. We got the Bama boys in the middle. We got the young sweat combination to go along with Mac Ioannidis. That defense gives people nightmares. They impact the game. This is not your for play team. And then we got a guy named Terry, and we talk about Bradshaw, who's from Ohio State, very, very elite guy, solid route runner. Give me FC Washington. Give me FC Washington, man, and my big shot coming back from the Caribbean voice. Let's go. Next game on the docket.
You know what? I'm going to go Atlanta Falcons. And
there you go. Good pick, MJ.
I'm going to Atlanta Falcons because even though Washington has so much talent on defense, they remind me of a team that I used to be a fan of in the Bears, in which always had a good defense. But because you stay on the field for so long, what good is it going to do you?
And that defense hasn't been playing up to their potential, man. Like not even by a little bit.
So I'm gonna go with that.
And I've watched a little bit of that defense on the film, the little bit of film that we have accessible to us right now. And Chase Young has no sacks so far. His pressures have been limited. He is double teamed a lot. Right now, and which is surprising considering that they have talent all the way across that defensive line. But I think this is the day that he'll get a sack today. He'll get a sack today and impact the game a little bit more and help Washington win this game.
Next game, we got the team that shall get no play in my ride versus the teams that like to circle wagons. So when in my wagon, they gets no play. Just letting you know. So with that being said, that's Buffalo versus the team that shall not be mentioned. Give me Buffalo. Mo, you can do your work.
Hey, man, over under 47. Take that take that over because Buffalo going to score 45 points today. Give me Buffalo 45-7.
And the FML, I'm going against Josh Allen, Buffalo.
Victor?
Sorry, I'm muted. Sorry, I'm a professional.
You're professional.
I'll take Buffalo. They have created a lot of turnovers the past 2 games. I think they have 7 over the past 2 games, and I think they'll continue the same thing against Houston.
Hey, Vic was like Deshaun Watson right there. He was there, but he can't really participate.
Oh,
go ahead.
Hey,
well, the next game on the
playing.
docket, we got a bunch of giant Saints, and the thing is, man, it is what it is. You know, listen, Alvin ain't really got no chipmunks, but he got a dude named Jameis that like to eat W's, and I expect the Saints this week to get the W. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna let Mo cook though.
It wasn't in the case of David and Goliath. Wasn't David the Saint and Goliath the Giant?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. I don't know. Saints are 7-point favorites. The Saints do have Armstead out, and they got a couple guys kind of nicked up here and there. Look, man, Jameis can see, okay? And we know Jameis can see because he's only got 2 interceptions through 3 games. So that's like a 95% improvement from what he did the last time he was on the football field. I mean, obviously, Alvin Kamara's workload is heavier and heavier, and that is to be expected. That is why Jameis is a little more efficient. That's a big reason why. And you know what? He's the best player they got on the offensive side of the football, and I don't even think that's a debate. Even when Michael Thomas decides he feels like playing, Alvin Kamara is still the best offensive player on that football team. The Giants, again, I don't like anything to do with the New York Giants. Daniel Jones, I don't want to say we told you so, but again, like I'm rooting for the kid still, but there's just a lot of room for improvement, a lot left. He leaves a lot on the football field. There's no real rhythm. They're without their 2 starting wide receivers today. I think the Saints are going to win this one and win this one big, to be honest with you. Give me the Saints 29-16.
The Saints will be back in the Superdome today. For those of us that didn't know, they will be home for this game. Finally, after about a month of not being in New Orleans. Like Mo said, alluded to, you got Sterling Shepard, you got Darius Slayton out for this game. Kenny Galladay is the only healthy, productive receiver over his career, but he might be shadowed by Marshawn Lattimore the whole game. Saquon Barkley and that offensive line, still the inconsistent, running game and or whatever you want to call it, wherever you want to point fingers to in that direction. I don't want to say who, in my opinion. It's a really bad football team, and of course they're being coached by Jason Garrett. Okay, Jason Garrett shouldn't even have a college head coaching job, let alone an NFL job. And I'm sorry, but this is a dude he's outdated. His game plan is outdated. Give me the Saints because there's really nothing else. They should be able to dominate this game and win by a good 25 points or something.
Yeah.
I think the Saints defense is a little bit underrated. I'm not going to forget what they did in week 1. I think the only reason why they have the loss that they have now is because Jameis got a little bit overzealous during that one game in which he had 2 interceptions. If he is able to just starting off, just get the ball to Kamara and just keep his turnovers down, that defense is going to do the rest for him. The Giants does not show any opposing threat offensively to be able to make this a shootout. That's what will have to happen in order for them to win. I know it's any given Sunday, but I'm going to play the percentages and pick the Saints.
Next game on the docket, we got a team that needs a little pat on the back, and then we got another team that hurts. And it's just really, really, really simple. Like I mean, it's not a lot that needs to be said here. The Chiefs are in a situation where they got way too many Chiefs and not enough Indians. The football team's persona, they have way too many guys that are elite level talents that have me first persona sometime, and they project themselves that way. And that's ultimately been a problem with this roster moving forward, as we heard from last year from some of the guys from the Bucks. followed by the Eagles. Listen, they're hurting. And that's no bad pun is all the way intended from that. They're hurting in a lot of areas that make a lot of sense. You're hurting defensively and everywhere. Please get Fletcher Cox out of that organization. You're competing every week. Great for you guys, but there's a lot of things left to be desired by this football team every week. I'm gonna go ahead and make my pick now. The Chiefs, this is a you better special.
Mm-hmm.
You better not hurt yourself and go 1-3. Because if you do, you're gonna need more than a pat on the back. Because it won't be no oh yes from the Kool-Aid man.
Amen. The Eagles got a big hill to climb, and the problem with their wings is they got broken wings. Shout out to Maxwell. The only reason Fletcher Cox is still there is because he walks by that Nick Foles statue and says, "Your face will be the only reason I smile." The Eagles are not in a good place, brother. Give me the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs big, and like Germ said, a you better special.
Yo, it's not hard, man. Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles only ran the ball with their running backs 3 times last week against the Cowboys.
Jeez.
They don't. I mean, this, and then you have a Chiefs defense that is 31st against the run right now, which is, one of those surprising stats because considering that the offense should be one of those offenses that hit you hard early, scores often, and teams are running the ball on them. That's not a good combination. But the Eagles, they need to wake up. I think they run the ball a lot this week. They still get their yardage, but the Chiefs are going to be too much, to overcome. I'll take the Chiefs on a tight football game.
Damn.
The next game on the docket, we got the Panthers versus the Cowboys. We got a team in the Panthers that have barely scratched the surface of where they're going to potentially be moving forward. We're talking if this right here was a situation that we have a Cowboys team that offensively is a juggernaut. I mean, they're premium. We're talking lamb for dinner. That right there tells you a lot about them. They have a guy who's hanging with me. At the end of the day, I just want y'all to know the Panthers corner is going to be hanging with Mr. Cooper today. It is what it is when it comes down to this. I love this matchup. This Panthers defense, me and Mo talked about it last year. You draft all defense the year before. You come back and you keep adding good pieces. You keep adding more good pieces. And then you have every position you need solidified. We're talking about you bring in C.J. Henderson from a trade. You still got a guy in J.C. Horn. Hey, man, get his daddy on the horn right now and tell him that the kid you produced is going to be an elite level superstar.
Yes.
Wait till he comes back healthy. To go along with that, they rushed the passer. They got a guy that is Mr. Brown himself. And we ain't talking about with the ashy knees. We're talking about a guy who gets after quarterbacks and is dominant at stopping the run. I love what I've seen from the Panthers. Mo said something earlier this year. That team will be the most competitive in the division. I like it. Over under, Mr. Schefter?
Yeah, over under in this game is 51.5. The Cowboys are 4-point favorites. Not much bars to give you for this one. We're just going to slam it shut and give it to you straight. It's going to be a reality check rather, for the Carolina Panthers today. Without Christian McCaffrey means there's going to be no parole from the pressure from Sam Darnold, and it's going to be a tough 60-minute sledding. I think they'll still put up points. I think this defense will certainly make an impact. I think they're going to force some turnovers, but ultimately, in the end, I think 3 major things are going to decide the outcome of this game. Number 1, Cowboys are tough to play for 60 minutes. They lead the league in turnovers. Number 2, and then number 3, there's just too many weapons coming at you, like MJ and Germ referenced. So it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a back and forth game. It's going to be a muddy game. There's going to be some haymakers thrown. Give me ultimately the Cowboys to win this game. A tough 27-24 victory.
One thing about them Cowboys is they got 2 first-year veterans on defense. I ain't calling them rookies.
Oh, I like that.
Are 2 first-year veterans. They came in ready. It's almost like they were genetically designed to play football, right? So, those 2 people in themselves completely changes the outlook of their defense, because now you have a side of the field that you got to think twice about throwing to. And you only got about 3 seconds to figure out where you're going to throw it to the other side of the field, because Parsons is coming. So you add that with the fact that even though Carolina's number one ranked in defense, this team is not a one-dimensional team. So, yeah, Ezekiel Elliott might only have 30, 40 yards, but I can guarantee you Dak is going to probably throw about 350 plus if that happens.
Right.
Because that's just going to go in the shotgun and pick you apart with all three of the weapons they have, whether it's going to be Dalton Schultz, whether it's going to be the backup running back that I like that they use in situations, my man, whether it's going to be, Cooper in the slot or whether you're going to have a few explosive plays with CeeDee Lamb, it's a lot to worry about. And you can't put J.C. Horn everywhere.
So he's not playing. He's not
playing.
Oh, so
he's not playing.
Yeah.
No,
right.
and I mean, they
get him on the horn.
Or McCaffrey ain't playing. They're going to fight really hard. It's going to be like a Rocky game, but they're not going to come out with a W. So,
no, they're not. It's going to be a hard-fought game, no doubt about it, MJ. I mean, they traded for C.J. Henderson. They still got that kid, not Adoree Jackson. What's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name. They got
You talk about Troy Pride?
No, what is this kid's name? He's fast. He's a corner.
Dante Jackson.
Yes, thank you. That's what I'm thinking of. They still got Brian Burns. They got Hassan Reddick over the offseason. It's going to be a really tough game.
But they still got Jeremy Chin, a young evolving safety.
I mean, yeah, man.
It's a lot of good that's
a team. Man.
They got to have a lot of decisions to make in 3 years, but they're quality decisions. That's 100%. A quality football team.
100%. 100%.
Shout out to Jerry. For those of you who missed it early in the show, he was there in Texas, in Dallas, AT&T Stadium. Had a nice little report from us. Shout out to Jerry for us. Shout out to Jerry. But like we talked about, the guys talked about, this is a solid Panthers young defense. But they did go up against the Jets. They did go up against the Texans and the Saints team that is still kind of figuring out some things with Jameis. This will be their biggest test.
Mm-hmm.
Like the guys alluded to, there's so many weapons the Cowboys have. The balance has been a lot better. Even though I know there's situations where I would run the football, but it's just not McCarthy and the West Coast, things, the way they run things. But this is a very balanced football team in the Cowboys. They've had a tough schedule, and I think that they're able to come in and give the Panthers, smack them in the face a couple of times with some of the things that they'll be able to do. But this will be a fun game, a tight game as well. But I will take the Cowboys to give the Panthers their first L of the season.
All right, next game on the docket, we have NFC West showdowns are the next two bouts.
Okay,
so we're gonna cover both of these at the same time.
Let's do it.
That's just how good we are. We got Seahawks, 49ers. We got Cardinals, Rams. At the end of the day, the Cardinals, Rams is the show. That's the show of the day for the 4 o'clock games for us today. And let me tell you why. The reason why that is because at the very least, we know that Kyler Murray is a luxury. It's a luxury to have that on a Sunday to Sunday basis. But the biggest thing about this is we got a guy named Jalen Ramsey who just happens to be not only the best at what he does on the football field, but he's an exceptional leader, it seems, as well, with his actions and with his passion on the field. To go along with a guy who, Aaron Donald may be the best football player we've ever seen with a set of eyeballs. I don't know what else you can really say. That Rams defense is where it needs to be. As long as you have those two players, everybody else doing their jobs and filling their roles, the Rams are going to be right there. This is a statement game. Impact the game. Player of the day. Kyler Murray. We can't have turnovers. We cannot have meaningless plays. Throw the ball away against this defense. Do not do anything crazy. Over under for this game, Chef?
Over under in this game, I just had it at 54.5. The Rams are 4.5 point favorites. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your co-pilot speaking. The doors have been shut. The fasten seatbelt sign is off. The runway has been cleared. Okay, the Blue and Gold Express is officially non-stop to February. Okay, the big shot is already settled in. He is the pilot, the captain, whatever you want to call it. We in there. If you have not been on board yet, if you missed it, We feel sorry for you because you can't come aboard no more. We got no more checkpoints. We got no more detours. We got no more connecting flights, connecting trains. None of that. It is a one-way, nonstop express, and it is going to be shown why today. Give me the Rams. Give me the Rams big. 35-14 Rams.
This is my upset of the week. Arizona wins. And this is
Wow.
why I think Arizona will win. I do not trust conference games, first and foremost.
Uh-huh.
They're weird. Conference games are very weird. Secondly, the one thing that I see in the Achilles heel of the Los Angeles Rams that nobody has taken advantage of is the fact that I still don't think if you pressure Matt Stafford, he's going to be able to handle that, especially with the front four. And the Cardinals have the capability to do that. They can get pressure with their four. They can get it. Now, as long as they keep everything underneath them and don't have a bend don't break style on their defense, now you have to look at from an offensive standpoint. The Rams still have not met somebody like Kyler Murray with their defense this year. I don't think he's going to throw probably more than 240 yards, but I do think he's going to probably run for like 120. And that breaks your spirit as a defense.
Sure does.
Third and 8, you play perfect. Jalen Ramsey locked in with DeAndre Hopkins. They doing it exactly what they want to. Aaron Donald hits in, and this little water bug does a quick move, runs, and slides or gets out of bounds for about 13 yards. Yeah. And now you got to start this all over again. I think he's going to do just enough of those to be able to win, not by a lot. It's going to be a fluky game. I'm not going to walk away saying Arizona is a for real team. I just think they're going to win.
Okay, Vic, who you picking?
Yeah, no, MJ kind of alluded to where, I was going to go there with the whole Jalen Ramsey versus DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to shadow him throughout the whole game. They have a mutual respect for each other. They love going up against each other. So, of course, that's going to be a great fight. Kyler is going to be running a lot in this game. You're going to see a lot of Aaron Donald on his face. Those guards for the Cardinals are still a little bit questionable. So there will be a lot of Kyler rushing yards. I'm going to go over 100 for his rushing yards this week. So, I mean, even if he doesn't have an impact, passing, he's going to have an impact on the game as a rusher. So it is going to be a tight game. I'm going to still pick the Rams. I just think that the Rams have too much for the Cardinals to cover defensively. But it is going to be a tight game, and we're going to see a lot of Kyler Murray runs.
Guess what? Cardinals win today. 2 reasons why. Cardinals play man-to-man coverage. How do you beat the Rams? You have to be able to play man-to-man coverage. That's number 1. Number 2, you got to be able to put pressure on their defense sideline to sideline. If you do not put pressure on them sideline to sideline and make Aaron Donald have to run laterally, you're not going to be able to challenge them where you really want to challenge them, which is vertically. They have safeties and linebackers that are suspect, and at the end of the day, we're going to call this what it is. This is the Cardinals' game to show that they can be a team that is worthy of understanding they are here. This is your game to show this. I expect you guys to show it. It's that time. Kyler, 0 turnovers today, and a big win. Seattle, I'm picking you today to beat the 49ers for 2 reasons. The 2 reasons why I'm picking Seattle today. Number 1, Russ, I need you to bounce back and get back to your elite level of football. That's number 1. Number 2, this 49er defense, as good as it is, you can score on them. They are susceptible to be passed on. And guess what? Russ is the guy to do it.
Sure. Hey man, I'm taking Seattle because they need it. They can't afford to go 1-3 in this division so early in the season. Give me Seattle to win this game. It is a must-win for Seattle.
I'm actually going with Seattle as well. I just think that the 49ers have been too inconsistent. Just like the Washington football team, they've disappointed me in the pass rush and the front 7. So far, they have been underwhelming. And I'll take Seattle on a tough division matchup. They always fight each other hard. But I'll take Russ and Seattle to win this game for sure.
Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't make enough big vertical plays downfield for this to be a threat for them. Give me Seattle.
Is that a 4-way sweep right there?
For this one, yeah. I mean,
All
it's
right.
slant routes all day long, and you have too many weapons to just only throw slant routes. At some
Exactly.
point, you got to get Brandon out on the flanker. At some
Something
point.
deep, yep.
I mean, even with George Kittle, you're not even working him on the sideline and letting him do what he needs to do. Everything is just dink and dunk or 5-year, 10-year. There is no threat to go downfield. And eventually Seattle going to just pack that, in my opinion.
Steelers Packers. This is the Ben versus the other Ben game. Why? Because Aaron Rodgers and Ben Roethlisberger are kind of similar. Whether y'all want to say it or not, y'all keep trying to say Roethlisberger is. Y'all say that Roethlisberger wasn't Aaron Rodgers a couple of years ago, with the way that they pass the ball down the field, with the way they extend plays with their legs to make plays, bigger plays down the field. These are things that are similar about these two quarterbacks. But, again, this is just what the eyes in the sky say to me from watching the film. But it's okay. Everybody doesn't have to be me. But it's okay. At the end of the day, we got a guy. Here's a guy who has come back from a very interesting game last week coming from the 49ers. And I'm interested to see two things today. Can this front five hold up against this front seven? Is there a TJ Watt sighting today, fellas?
Is he playing?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't think he's playing, bro.
There's no TJ Watt, so that may be no chance in hell. Call me Pac-Man. My ghost is blue.
Oh, he is playing.
Oh, he's playing?
Oh, he is playing. He's playing.
Oh, okay. Well,
hey, you said this is the Ben versus Ben game. You're absolutely right.
You know what it is?
This is the has-been versus the been done. Has-been being Rodgers, been done being Ben Roethlisberger. Give me the has-been. Packers by 10.
God. And I'm supposed to be the biggest Aaron Rodgers criticizer in this group here.
That was tough.
Listen, this is I expect the Steelers to continue to regress in this game. Rodgers and that Devontae Adams connection is going to be too tough for them to cover. I see Aaron Jones getting another 100 yards, both in the passing and rushing game. So I'm going to take the Packers. I think they win by 2 touchdowns, to be honest with y'all.
I just want Najee Harris to have a good game. Other than that, I mean, Packers.
Okay, well, Pittsburgh wins today. They will get pressure on Aaron Rodgers all night.
Okay.
Blitz all night, in the words of Coach Yost. And most importantly, I'm just going to let y'all know right now, the Packers have the same problem they had last year in the secondary. And the Steelers have all of the quick twitch little fast guys to exploit it. Steelers. Man. Ravens, Broncos. Real simple. This is the game that shows me what I need to know about the Ravens. But guess what? I think the Broncos defense is up to the task. Give me the Broncos today. Dion, bring your tomatoes, because we're going to cut them up and we're going to make it for a nice salad later as we discuss why Lamar Jackson has the game that he has today. Give me the Broncos.
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm not comfortable. I don't have a strong opinion behind my pick, but it's just football. Give me Denver. Give me Denver 21-20.
Give me the Ravens because they're good in the regular season.
Fair.
All of the things that you guys talk about Lamar only show up in the playoffs. In the regular season, it's more than enough for him to be able to get by teams they're supposed to beat. It's just when he goes against the teams where he has to show what you guys always talk about, he ain't going to be able to do it. But for the regular season, I
Yeah. Again, I don't feel strongly about the pick, but I'm just picking Denver.
Vic, who are you picking?
I'm taking Denver. I have to go with Denver in this game. I think Teddy has been consistent. This is a guy that has the highest completion percentage in the NFL right now, plus some good depth per target. So they're getting the ball downfield. Give me the more consistent passer. Okay, passer, key word, and Teddy Bridgewater, and the Broncos win today.
This next game, we're going to take just a couple extra minutes real quick. Take about 4 minutes of y'all time. Bucks Patriots. At the end of the day, Brady needs 68 yards to do what? Become the all-time leading passer in the NFL. It is what it is. I'm coming home, coming home. Tell the world that I'm coming home. Let the rain wash away the sin from Bill and yesterday when he messed up the bowl when we were trying to get them all. 3P on, 3P on. They could have done one and on. Home.
What y'all need to understand is all of this is freestyle. Like, we don't write this.
No, we
Like,
don't. No, we don't.
Here, like, all of this is off the cuff. Like, we not writing none of this stuff.
Yes.
So, this
having fun with this.
Right,
what is the over under for this game? And let's dive into it real quick before kickoff.
Over under is 49.5. The Buccaneers are 7-point favorites. Look here, man, there's a lot to say. There's a lot to go over. There's a lot we can talk about in terms of all the angles and the narratives and the homecoming and the whatnot. We may do that later tonight. As far as the X's and O's, the views and dues, you said MJ was saying it's off the dome. We don't prepare. We don't write this stuff down. Yeah, well, Bill Belichick didn't write down his wide receiver board for 20 years either. And that's a big reason why Tom Brady is now coming to New England in a different uniform. As far as the X's and O's of this game, you know, there's the narrative going around that Bill Belichick is going to know exactly what to do to stop Tom Brady. Look here, man, Bill Belichick is not going to come with some magical blueprint after 7 Super Bowls and 22 years of greatness and tell you what it is you need to do to beat Tom Brady. It's just not going to happen. Give me the Bucks. They're going to roll. Tom Brady's going to be emotional. He's locked in. I think it's going to be a different level to his game tonight. I think he's going to use AB as just an extra little take that, Bill. Give me the Buccaneers by 3 touchdowns.
It would have been great to see, Gronkowski in this game as well as a homecoming for him as well.
I'm glad Gronk is not playing in this game, Vic.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess we'll talk about that later on. We'll go before the game. But, I would have loved to see that happen too, to kind of rub it in a little bit more. But of course, I picked Tampa Bay to kind of dominate this game. I do think Mac Jones will probably have his best game so far of his young career, considering that the Buccaneers is struggling as a pass defense. But other than that, I mean, of course, I got the Patriots in this game.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one team in the NFL that Tom Brady has not beaten, and he's playing them.
Boom.
That will change at the end. Tampa Bay wins by 10 points.
That's crazy.
And with that being said, as I make my pick and we end the show, I'm picking the Bucks because you know what this is? These are buck shots at Bill. Buck shots.
Yeah, man.
We are going to see. We don't got JJ Evans walking through that door, but it's getting ready to be some dynamite. Yeah, we're talking about 68 yard. It may be a 68-yard touchdown pass in this game just to be petty.
Yeah.
It is that type of day. Brady may throw for 6 touchdowns today. He may go for a record against this team today on a level of that y'all may never see. So I need for y'all to understand this could get emotional. Give me the Bucks against them Pats because Bill gonna need a pat on the back. The embrace at the end of this game is gonna be one for the ages.
Yes. Yes.
They may cry.
Yeah. I might cry. It's gonna be emotional tonight, Jerm. Ain't no doubt about it. We're gonna talk tonight. It's gonna be emotional tonight.
With that being said, y'all, as we wrap up views and dues this week, we just want y'all to know we'll be back next week. We may have some special guests next week because we got some big games this week. I just want to put that out there for y'all now. Consistency is the word of the week. Every team that I pick today will be consistent and they will show, and I will have a perfect pick'em record today as I take us home 22.
2-2, baby.
Games, y'all.
Yes, sir.